Deja Harmon's ability to hold everything together was legendary. She managed 3 major client accounts, coached 2 junior creatives, covered the gap in her brother's tuition every semester, and still answered Slack messages within 4 minutes, even at 11 o'clock at night. What nobody knew was that she had 7 alarms on her phone just to remind herself to eat. And she couldn't remember the last time she'd turned them all off and simply slept. This is a story about the exhaustion of being everyone's safe person and what happens when one quiet, unassuming coworker refuses to stop knocking. Let's start from the beginning. Monday morning, glass conference room. 12 executives arranged around a long table, coffee cups steaming, laptops open. Deja stands at the head of the room. She is not using notes. The deck behind her is immaculate, clean fonts, every data point sourced. She built it over a weekend she was supposed to spend at the beach with her cousins. She reads the room, she pivots without breaking stride, and when the client lead uncrosses his arms and leans forward, she already knew he would. Under the conference table, her left thumb presses hard into her palm. Nobody sees it. 20 minutes later, she is alone in the elevator. The smile drops. Not dramatically, it just empties. She looks at her reflection in the metal doors. The elevator hums. She touches the small gold stud in her left ear, a graduation gift from her mother. The doors open. The smile returns before she steps out. That same week, her director, Cedric, announces in a room of 40 people that Deja will be running the agency's biggest new account. The room applauds. Colleagues turn to smile at her. Her voice is warm and even when she says she's in. Her notebook is on her lap. She covers her right hand with it. It is shaking slightly. The notebook holds it still. In the bathroom afterward, she runs cold water over her wrists for 90 seconds. It's something she started doing recently. She doesn't have a name for why it helps. That night, her apartment is perfectly still. The kitchen light is the only thing on. She sits at the table with a yellow legal pad and a blue pen and a glass of water she won't touch. She writes. The handwriting is neat. Monday. Sent wrong attachment. Fixed it. Took 40 seconds. I have been thinking about those 40 seconds for 6 hours. I need sleep. She caps the pen, puts it down, looks at what she's written. Then she picks it back up and rewrites the list from the top. But perfection isn't sustainable, and cracks were beginning to show. It happens fast. She sends a client the wrong file, an early draft, placeholder text still in it. Her stomach drops like a floor giving out. She fixes it in 40 seconds. The client says no worries. A colleague says it happens to everyone. Deja says, yeah, totally. She rewrites her to-do list, then again, then a third time on a fresh page. Her handwriting gets smaller each time, tighter, as if pressing the letters closer together might contain something. She doesn't go to lunch. The week after that, she cancels dinner with her 2 closest friends for the 3rd month in a row. This time, she doesn't invent a reason. She just texts, something came up at work. That night, her apartment is perfectly still. The kitchen light is the only thing on. She sits at the table with a yellow legal pad and a blue pen and a glass of water she won't touch. She writes. The handwriting is neat. Monday. Sent wrong attachment. Fixed it. Took 40 seconds. I have been thinking about those 40 seconds for 6 hours. I need sleep. She caps the pen, puts it down, looks at what she's written. Then she picks it back up and rewrites the list from the top. But perfection isn't sustainable, and cracks were beginning to show. It happens fast. She sends a client the wrong file, an early draft, placeholder text still in it. Her stomach drops like a floor giving out. She fixes it in 40 seconds. The client says no worries. A colleague says it happens to everyone. Deja says, yeah, totally. She rewrites her to-do list, then again, then a third time on a fresh page. Her handwriting gets smaller each time, tighter, as if pressing the letters closer together might contain something. She doesn't go to lunch. The week after that, she cancels dinner with her 2 closest friends for the 3rd month in a row. This time, she doesn't invent a reason. She just texts, "Something came up at work." Sunday, 11:48 p.m. Her brother calls. He's calling to thank her. He got the financial aid confirmation. The tuition gap is covered. He talks for 20 minutes about his classes, his roommate, a girl in his study group. She says, "That's amazing, and I'm so proud of you," in all the right places. She means every word. After he hangs up, she holds the phone in her lap. The apartment is completely silent. She gets up, goes to the kitchen, opens the cabinet above the stove, takes every mug out, starts putting them back in a different order. Her hands move carefully. The ceramic makes soft sounds against the shelf. She reaches for the last mug, and then she just holds it. She doesn't put it down. She doesn't put it in the cabinet. She stands at the open cabinet holding a mug, and the thought that moves through her is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is the quietest thought she's ever had. I don't know why I'm doing any of this. Not the mug, not the cabinet, any of this. Her knees go first. She slides down slowly, her back against the cabinet, until she is sitting on the cold kitchen tile, the mug in her lap. The light above her buzzes. She is not crying. She is just empty, like someone reached in and took the thing that had been keeping her upright, and she only just noticed it was gone. Deja was the person everyone called capable. Deja was the person who had forgotten what rest felt like. She sits on the floor for a long time, long enough for the tile to go from cold to just cool, long enough for the kitchen light to flicker once and hold. She could call someone, she knows this. She cannot make herself move toward it. The thought that comes is not violent, it is tired. What if I just stopped performing? She can't finish the thought. She's never let herself get there. And then her phone lights up. Not a call, not a text, an alarm, going off 4 hours early by mistake. She must have set it wrong when she couldn't sleep 2 nights ago. The screen says, "Be a person." She looks at those 3 words for a long moment, and then she makes a sound. It is not quite a laugh, it is not quite a sob, it is something in between that has been waiting a long time to come out. She cries, not beautifully, not softly. She cries the way people cry when they have been not crying for 2 years. But someone was paying closer attention than Deja realized. She sits on the floor for a long time, long enough for the tile to go from cold to just cool, long enough for the kitchen light to flicker once and hold. She could call someone, she knows this. She cannot make herself move toward it. The thought that comes is not violent, it is tired. What if I just stopped performing? She can't finish the thought. She's never let herself get there. And then her phone lights up. Not a call, not a text, an alarm, going off 4 hours early by mistake. She must have set it wrong when she couldn't sleep 2 nights ago. The screen says, "Be a person." She looks at those 3 words for a long moment, and then she makes a sound. It is not quite a laugh, it is not quite a sob, it is something in between that has been waiting a long time to come out. She cries, not beautifully, not softly. She cries the way people cry when they have been not crying for 2 years. But someone was paying closer attention than Deja realized. Not a Tuesday, a Wednesday. Deja's car was in the garage on a Wednesday and Ren noticed. This time, Deja's eyes were red, not crying, already past it. The specific redness of someone who cried alone the night before and then slept too little and drove to work anyway. Ren sat on the hood of the adjacent car. The concrete was cold. The light flickered. She asked one question. When's the last time someone asked how you were doing and you actually told them the truth? Deja didn't answer right away. Her left thumb pressed into her palm. Ren saw it. She didn't say anything about it. She just waited. After 20 seconds, after 30, Deja said, "I don't know." Ren said, "Yeah, that's what I thought." Neither of them spoke for a while. The fluorescent light hummed. Somewhere below them, a car engine started and faded. Deja opened the door. Not to leave, she just needed more air. She sat sideways, feet on the concrete, hands on the steering wheel. She said she wouldn't even know what to say if someone asked. She wouldn't know the words. Ren said that was okay. That was kind of the whole problem. They sat there for 45 minutes. Ren didn't try to fix anything. She didn't have the answers. She was just there, present, holding a coffee that had gone cold, not once checking her phone. Deja's thumb was no longer pressed into her palm. She didn't notice when she'd stopped. It wasn't a solution, but it was a start. That afternoon, Ren texted her a number, Employee Assistance Line, 3 covered sessions, confidential, no HR involvement. Deja screenshotted it. For 5 days, it sat in her camera roll between a photo of her mother's birthday cake and a work presentation she was proud of. On day 5, she woke at 4:02 a.m. Her chest was tight. Her heart was already going before she'd had a single thought. She reached for her phone. She opened the screenshot. She called. A woman answered. Calm voice. The particular unhurried warmth of someone who has answered this line hundreds of times and still means it. She booked Deja an appointment for Thursday at noon. Deja said thank you and hung up and sat in the dark. Then she wrote on the yellow legal pad, in careful blue handwriting, Thursday, 12 p.m. She circled it 3 times. The therapist's name was Dr. Okafor. She had reading glasses pushed up on her forehead and a habit of leaving long pauses after questions that felt less like awkwardness and more like space. She didn't start with an intake form. She asked one question. Just right now, one word. How do you feel? Deja looked at the wall, the plant on the windowsill, the window. She opened her mouth. She closed it. She said, tired. Not stressed, not overwhelmed, not fine. Just tired. Dr. Okafor said, that's the most honest thing you've probably said out loud in a long time. Deja's chin moved first, then her eyes filled. She pressed her lips together and tried to hold it. She couldn't hold it. She cried in a small office with a well-watered plant while a woman she'd met 12 minutes ago sat quietly and did not offer a single solution. She just let it happen, like it was allowed. It was the most functional Deja had felt in months. The changes that came after were small. They were not cinematic. 2 weeks later, a Slack notification at 8:07 p.m. She looked at it. She put the phone face down on the couch. She didn't pick it back up until morning. She noticed the next day that nobody panicked. A month in, her director asked if she could be ready for a kickoff by the 14th. Her mouth started to form the word absolutely. She felt it coming. She stopped. She said she needed the 18th. He said the 18th works and kept walking. He didn't seem to notice that anything extraordinary had just happened. She stood in the hallway. She put her hand over her left ear. The gold stud was there. She wasn't sure why she was smiling. It wasn't a performance. It felt strange and unfamiliar, the way your own face looks strange in a photograph. There were still bad days, days when the alarm said, be a person, and she lay there and thought, not today, not yet. Days when she drove to level 3 and sat there without moving for 20 minutes. Days when she rewrote the to-do list 4 times before 9 a.m. But there was also this. 6 weeks after the parking garage Wednesday, Britta called, not texted, called, and said she wanted to really check in. Deja told her it had been a hard few months, that she was working on it. Britta said okay. She said thank you for saying that. She asked if she could come over. Deja said yes, bring food, not granola bars. Britta laughed. It was the best sound Deja had heard all week. That Sunday night, the legal pad was different. Shorter list. The items breathed. It's not fixed, I know that, but I told Dr. Okafor today that I slept 6 hours last night without reorganizing anything first. She said that counts. I think maybe it does. She capped the pen, put it down. She did not pick it back up to rewrite. The mask wasn't gone, but now, sometimes, it was real. Behind every smile could be a story like Deja's. Not the story of someone falling apart, the story of someone holding it together so well, for so long, for so many people, that they forgot they were allowed to put it down. We hide because the people who love us have told us, not with cruelty but with pride, that we are the ones they count on, that we are the capable ones, the strong ones, the ones who never drop the ball. And when you have been told that enough times, struggle starts to feel like betrayal. But all it took was one person who showed up 3 Tuesdays in a row with a spare coffee and a question she didn't need answered right away. That was it. Not a perfect speech, not a dramatic moment, just, I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to need you to be okay yet. Here's what Deja's story teaches us that generic mental health awareness doesn't. High performance is not proof of wellness. The people who answer your messages fastest, who never cancel, who always show up, who make you feel like everything is handled, those people are not immune. They are often the last to ask for help, because asking for help would mean stepping out of the only role they know how to play. So notice the person who is always okay. Notice when they cancel for the 3rd time and you accept the excuse without a follow-up. Notice when they answer your crisis at 2 a.m. and you forget to check on them at 2 p.m. Notice the thumb pressing into the palm, the eyes that are a little too steady, the smile that appears exactly 1 second too fast. And then do this. Don't ask, "Are you okay?" Ask something they can't perform at. Ask, "When's the last time someone really checked on you?" Ask it like you're ready to hear a real answer. And if they say, "I'm fine, I just need sleep," come back. Come back a 2nd time. Come back a 3rd time. The 3rd reach is often the one that matters. If you're the person holding it together for everyone else right now, know this. Needing rest is not a failure. It is not weakness. It is not letting anyone down. It is the most honest thing you can offer the people you love. You do not have to be performing to be worthy of care. You do not have to have it together to deserve someone sitting in a cold parking garage with you on a Wednesday. And if you are struggling right now, if some part of this felt uncomfortably familiar, please reach out. To someone who sees you, to a professional, to a line in the description below. You don't have to explain it perfectly. You don't have to have the right words. You can just say, "I don't know." That's enough to start. If this story stayed with you, share it. Send it to the person you always count on and never check on. Leave a comment below if you've ever been Deja or if you've ever been Ren. Subscribe to Behind the Smile for more stories like this one. Crisis resources and mental health support links are in the description. Behind every smile is a story. Some just need someone brave enough to look.